Take your time.
All right, so white privilege is largely a myth used by cultural Marxists and the far left to guilt trip and shame whites into relinquishing what little power and influence they still have in the West. The broader culture of many Western countries is almost explicitly anti white. On a routine basis, calls go out from major media figures, politicians, celebrities, and others to reduce the amount of whites in big institutions. This is often done under the guise of promoting diversity and inclusion. These are Orwellian code words for less whites. Major figures in our media and culture, like Stephen Colbert, Anderson Cooper, Jennifer Rubin, Joe Biden, and others, have hailed the decline of white demographics as a good thing. If our leaders and cultural elite favor whites as a group, they have a funny way of showing it. In 2016, the hashtags Oscars so white, Hollywood so white began trending on Twitter, and numerous big name celebrities like Jane Fonda, Jonah Hill, Joaquin Phoenix put up public statements calling for more diversity in the industry. Jewish actor Seth Rogen, in a 2020 interview, stated that he was actively taking measures to, quote, make less things starring white people. The same plea to disenfranchise whites rings out in professional sports, politics, the media, book publishing, advertising, modeling, and virtually every industry you can think of. The media has even run stories saying that camping, rock climbing, and cycling and other outdoor activities are too white. What's astonishing, though, is that when whites are the minority of a particular industry, nobody says diversity is needed. The NBA and NFL leagues are dominated by blacks at 70% and 74% black, respectively. Hip hop, R&B, rap, jazz music is dominated overwhelmingly by blacks. Yet nobody is calling for those leagues or industries to be diversified with more non-blacks. The only sports league that they say needs more diversity is the NHL because it's majority white. In 2020, the NHL set up a Hockey Diversity Alliance and formed four committees to, quote, study the intersection of race and hockey. All the major corporations and government agencies in the US, Canada, UK have initiated these diversity programs. Diversity is evidently a one way street towards the total erasure of whites and their replacement with non whites. Let's look at a few real world examples of black and brown privilege generally. Look at how the media treats victims of police shootings. Most people know the names of George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Michael Brown, other blacks killed by police or by whites. These names are known around the world thanks to a cacophony of intense media coverage. Yet very few have heard the names of Tony Timpa, Autumn Steele, Jeremy Martis, Cannon Hinn, Duncan Lemp, and other whites who were killed either by police or by blacks. The major media clearly values the lives of blacks more than whites and focuses only on the stories it can use to drive home an anti white, pro black narrative. Look at how white and black racial activism is treated by the state and the media. Putting up posters that say it's okay to be white are routinely met with police hate crime investigations and media hysteria, but blacks who do analogous messaging for their race are met with praise. Armed black thugs like the Not Fucking Around Coalition march through the streets menacing whites with shouts of black power and demands for reparations, and they go unmolested by police and basically uncritical media coverage. Yet when whites march for their rights peacefully, they're met with a heavy hand by police, Antifa rioters, and intense demonization by the media and politicians. In Canada and Europe, pro white activism is often met with criminal charges and state harassment. We have other examples from the UK. A Burley football fan was recently investigated by police for an incident in which he flew a White Lives Matter banner over a stadium. He was, quote, handed a lifetime ban by his club and sacked from his job at an engineering firm. Contrast that treatment with an Indian professor at Cambridge University, Dr. Primavada Gopal, who tweeted, white lives don't matter. A news article reported that, quote, the University of Cambridge has spoken out in support of one of its lecturers who was hit by a wave of abusive messages for tweeting white lives don't matter. The university defends the right of its academics to express their own lawful opinion. But imagine if it was a white professor who said the opposite. Then we have the phenomenon of whites pretending to be non whites to gain social and career advantages. A recent survey by Intelligent found that 34% of white students who applied to U.S. colleges and universities falsely claimed they were a racial minority on their application. The publication found that 81% of students who faked minority status did so to improve their chances of getting accepted. 50% of students who lied said they did it to get minority focused financial aid. About 3 and 4, 77% of them were accepted to those colleges. A few names: Jessica Krug, Rachel Dolezal, Jennifer Benton, Dr. Kelly Keene Sharp, Carrie Barassa, Elizabeth Warren. All of these are white women who achieved prominence in academia and other institutions by claiming to be a race other than white. How can this be so if being white is the category that confers privileges? That's it.